Yes, good evening, people. How are we doing? Welcome back to 12th Man. The Arsenal talk show's back because there is more Arsenal transfer news today. As I'm sure most of you have been keeping up with and most of you have heard, we're going to talk about Martin Zubimendi, who is looking like he's going to be Arsenal's first signing. What do your thoughts are on that? What are people's opinions on what that means for our balance of our midfield? We're going to talk about what the future holds for Arsenal's trio in midfield and the strength in depth of that as well. We're also going to be keeping you up to date with another couple of bits of rumours that are coming out in relation to contract extensions and talks of players who are staying and players who might be leaving. And then looking at some of the kind of future of what Arsenal's transfer window might look like in the coming weeks. I expect it to be busy in the next few weeks, not just for Arsenal, but for the actual transfer window in general. So make sure you're all locked in. There looks like there's there's over 150 of you already, which is mad. So please make sure you hit the likes and you subscribe to the channel as well. Please make sure you're also showing some love to hit the link in the description to the football prizes. Who are our sponsors for today. So please make sure you go to footballprizes.co.uk or click on the link in the description. It will take you straight to this page for you to get involved in the raffle draw for the Thierry Henry framed signed shirt. It's literally just 99 pence. You've got 11 days left, people. So please make sure you get in with a chance of this. It is an absolute steal for that price. Doesn't even cost you £1 to enter. Now that is pretty good. So make sure that you do that. If you do win it, please let me know, yeah? Because we've had a few people that have won and they've never told us until like months later. So if you are successful, please make sure you do let us know because we've had a few on other shows that have just kept things quiet. Why keep it quiet, man? Promote it, shout it out. I know a few people that have won these prizes, football prizes. I think most people are following. If you're not, please make sure you are. Footballprizes.co.uk, or you can click on the link in the description, which is easier, and it will take you straight to this page where you can enter. Everybody would love a Thierry Henry shirt, right? So let's make sure that we're getting involved with one of the absolute legends, and more on him in a bit as well, by the way, because Thierry Henry on the overlap. Absolute facts he was spitting. Brilliant. Listen, if you haven't listened already, I really welcome you and suggest you to go over to the overlap and listen to what Gary Neville, Ian Wright, Roy Keane, Jamie Carragher, and of course Thierry Henry, and of course Jill Scott were talking about as well. So make sure that you do have a chat with that. And I'm going to go into that a little bit because I think we need to speak about that. People's thoughts on that. It was mad, if I'm honest. I've got to be honest. Like... Thierry Henry is an absolute legend, and it seems that there are certain fans that believe Thierry Henry is jealous of Mikel Arteta. No, Thierry Henry just wants Arsenal to win, like most Arsenal fans should want. Yeah, Arsenal fans, not Arteta fans. That's what they should be. But big up to everyone that's in the house. Locked in is well over 300 people. Let's get to it. Let's talk about the news that we want to be talking about, which is the positive news, of course, that Martin Zubimendi looks like he's going to be the first Arsenal signing. There is a medical booked, and it looks like this one is going to happen now. Now, it was reported in the winter that this was a kind of deal that Arteta has been looking at alongside, I think, Edu and Vinay and some of the other guys previously when they were in charge. This is a guy that he's had his eyes on for quite some time. Now, of course, there was rumours and suggestions that he was going to be a Liverpool player. It looked like the paperwork was agreed. It looked like the signing was going to happen last summer. And then all of a sudden, a rejection. He said no. I don't really know why he said no. I still don't really know why, if I'm honest with you. I thought he had an excellent Euros. I think he's one of those players that if you were to get anywhere near the likes of a Rodri type player, then he's one of the names that would come up as a kind of bracket down from him because, let's be real, no one's touching Rodri. And that level of player, I think, is something that Arsenal will definitely welcome. Now, I'm going to talk about where I see his kind of future in a little while and how I think that he is going to fit into this system and where he's going to play, which I think is fairly obvious, but it's worth touching on anyway. But Sammy Mokbel has suggested and reported today that Zubimendi is set to have a medical before completing his move to Arsenal. Well-placed sources have confirmed to BBC Sport that all the documents in relation to the transfer have been signed, with the deal entering its closing stages. Now, that to me is sounding fairly reliable. A lot of people put Sammy Mokbel in quite high regard. BBC Sport people put in quite high regard. This has been touted for quite some time now. And if I'm honest with you, I'd be shocked if this wasn't to happen now. And I know what you're going to say. Yellow bar, on the Arsenal.com when he's wearing a shirt. I don't want to listen to it. We do share stuff on this information on this channel. We're not a channel that is a Fabrizio Romano or Ornstein love child. We're not one of those. I'm definitely not one of those, and I don't want to be one of those people. But I do like to see where people's heads are at. In relation to this signing, I can see this one happening. And Sammy Mockbell does go on further to suggest that actually it is going to be quite soon that this is announced. Martin Zubimendi, it's reported that there's a £51 million release clause. All payment structures between Sociedad and Arsenal have been agreed. Because the paperwork for the transfer has been completed, all parties are quite relaxed about the scheduling of the medical. So this one is going to be a here we go pretty soon. If I'm honest, I think we've kind of already had a here we go from Fabrizio Romano quite some time ago. But he isn't signed yet. There is a medical that's going to happen. I'm sure nothing will go wrong there. £51 million, I've got to be honest with you, is a steal. I've got to be honest. I think that's an absolute steal. For a player of that quality, he's in his 20s. He's experienced already. I understand that he's not a winner at Sociedad. He's not winning titles like Real Madrid and Barcelona are, but he's playing at a fairly good level. He is going to know the likes of Martin Odegaard and Mikel Merino. That's for sure, because he's obviously played with them over at Real Sociedad. I think he played with Odegaard anyway. I'm pretty sure that he did. I have to double check that. Let me know in the chat if he did or didn't, by the way. And then obviously Merino, he knows pretty well. So, look, he's going to bolster our midfield. What does this mean moving forward? Well, let me just explain what I think it does mean. Martin Zubimendi is coming in as a 6, people. Zubimendi is not going to be one of those guys that's versatile enough to play in the 6 and the 8. He's not somebody I look at and think, well, you know, I think we might be able to play him instead of Odegaard, or maybe you can allow Rice to have a break and maybe Rice can play in the 6 and Zubimendi play in the 8. It isn't going to be like that. Zubimendi literally has one position. From what I understand, he is just a deep line playmaker, a holding midfielder, a proper CDM old school that likes to get on the ball. Some people have actually likened him when I've spoken to him about players that have watched him more than me, a little bit like Jorginho. Now, people might cringe at that and go, oh dear. But actually, when you look at Jorginho's attributes, I quite like him. I'm not going to lie. Now, he's obviously better at another level to Jorginho, and perhaps he would have been similar to Jorginho when he was that age. But I look at what Zubimendi brings, and I think he actually is going to be a very good player. Now, if there was any question mark about this whatsoever, it would be his physical attributes. He's not somebody that I look at that has that physical presence like Thomas Partey or of the old Gilberto and Vieira type midfielders. So I don't think he's one of those midfielders that I look at that's going to be that physical, powerful, strength, muscle, brute in midfield. He isn't like that. He's quite delicate on the ball from what I understand. And a lot of people have likened him to a Xabi Alonso. And I think his idol is Xabi Alonso. Now, for those that don't know, Xabi Alonso is one of my favorite, if I'm honest, Premier League DMs. I think the guy is ridiculous. And I say Premier League, I actually think in Europe, I look at Xabi Alonso in the last sort of decade to 2 decades and think, yeah, there's no one that I look at that had that kind of aura about him. That's what I will say. Big up to Saeed in the chat, man. Where's the roundabout show? Yeah, we're taking a break this week, man. It will be back. Unavailability. We've got no Igal, we've got no Lee, we've got no others. So we're gonna come back with that next week. So big up to you, my bro. Hope you're well. Make sure you're following Saeed TV. Appreciate you, bro. And make sure you're hitting the likes and subs for him. I can't believe, by the way, that Manchester United lost again tonight in a friendly. What was that all about, bro? Come on. What's happening, man? What's happening, Saeed? Talk to me. This Amarin, bro. What's happening with him, man? I know it's only a friendly, but come on, man. What's happening with Man United? They are dusted, man. Dusted club, bro. Dusted club. It's mad. Big up, smash the likes. He says he's come back and said, "Oh, bro, we're a mess." Bro, we're not in much of a position at the moment, but do you know what? Manchester United. Seriously, I don't know what to say about your club, man. They're just so washed. It's unbelievable. They've literally just got to rip everything up, throw it away, and just start again, man. That's what they've got to do. But big up to Saeed, man. Big up to everyone in the chat as well. Great to see you guys, and great to see you members in here. Great to see you moderators in here. Keep the chat respectful. Otherwise, the mods will get you out of here. So make sure that you are respectful in the chat. So Zubimendi's future looks like it's going to be in an Arsenal shirt. No, I don't have a clue what number he's going to wear. I always get asked that. What number is he going to take, Dan? Do people really care about that sort of thing? Like maybe they do. Maybe they're old school. I like shirt numbers to have the old school. Yeah. I like shirt numbers to have the old school. So I like the keeper to have 1, the right back to have 2, the left back to have 3. Some people don't care. What I don't really mind though is when you look at the shirt numbers and what number is he going to have? What number is he going to have? I don't really care, to be honest with you. Let's quickly get the elephant out of the room as well. Yes, Chelsea have completed Europe, if you want to call it that. So well done to Chelsea tonight. I don't like to big them up too much, but I did think they'd win, and they did. They've now won all European trophies that they've been a part of. They've managed to at least say they've won at least every tournament they've entered. They've at least won that trophy. And I don't mean every European trophy, but you get what I'm saying. They've won a Champions League, a Europa League, and the Conference League now as well. So fair play to them. Well done, Chelsea. Big up to Henry Talks Football as well. Big up to you, bro. Another person in London who's won a trophy that ain't Arsenal. Hopefully we'll wake up soon, guys. Hopefully we'll wake up soon. Big up to Henry, man. Why is he not a mod on here, by the way? That's got to be my bad. I'll make sure we sort that out. Big up to you, Henry. Make sure you go follow Henry Talks Football as well. An Arsenal fan, as people call him. Big up to you, Henry. Let me make you a mod quick now, bro. There we go. And congrats, mate, because you're a good friend of mine. So congrats for the win, bro. Congrats for the win. There we go. Anyway, listen. Zubimendi. I'm going to put an unpopular opinion out there. I still don't think he's better than Thomas Partey. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad signing before everyone comes at me, because I actually think this is a very good signing. But I want to see me proven wrong about this. I want to see him walk into this side and everyone go, I thought Partey was good. And he is. But wow, I can see why we've got him. I really do want that to be the case. I'm not saying that we're not going to say that, and I'm not saying that we are going to say that. That's my opinion right now from watching both players. The reason I'm going to like Partey more, why? Well, I've seen more of him, right? I've seen more of him. And if I'm honest with you, I think he's been one of our best players this season, Thomas Partey, in that 6. I still like Rice in that destroyer role. I do. I still think Declan Rice is an absolute monster. I do think he can play in the box-to-box role. I don't like him in an advanced 8. I've been quite vocal about that. But if he is doing a lot more of the defensive work as well as going forward and driving into the box and making things happen, then let's just be real. Like, I'm cool with it. Zubimendi's going to be that holding midfielder. Rice is going to be that box-to-box. And then Ødegaard is going to now be that attacking player. Now, out of those 3, I'm unsure about Zubimendi because he ain't kicked a ball for us, but I like it, the sound of it. Partey, I do believe, is a brilliant 6. Rice, I have question marks about over a consistent period of time, even though the back end of the season he looked very good in that role. And Ødegaard has to up his quality. Now, I've been quite vocal about this. I still think the best trio that Arteta's had since he's walked in the door has been Partey, Granit Xhaka, and Ødegaard. And they complemented each other. Now, I appreciate Granit Xhaka wanting to go, and it wasn't really a massive miss for me, but not replacing him was the big L. Yeah? Because if you're going to let him go, I'm not going to cry about it. I wanted Granit Xhaka gone for the best part of 5 of the 7 years he was at Arsenal. But what I will say is when you change his role and you actually look at how pivotal he was and how influential he was in that midfield and how complementary he was to both Partey and Ødegaard, when you let him go, you have to upgrade on him. So I had to see someone come into that role that I thought, yeah, do you know what? I get it. And I'm yet to do that. So Zubimendi coming in is great. And Partey coming in as the backup if we're going to keep him, and there's contract talks happening about Partey staying, which we'll come on to. That's calm. I'm cool with it. But the other 2 positions have got to work. And Rice, I don't know that it has worked yet. I think that it's a position people are talking about as him being brilliant in. He is a goal-scoring midfielder now. I think he got 8 goals this season, and I think he got 7 the previous season. So he can score goals from that position. But I don't know that he's the Bernardo Silva and Ødegaard's the KDB. I'm not sure we're quite there yet. Now, if we're going to be looking at Manchester City's dream 2 signings, which I think were Reinders and Florian Wirtz, I think they're going to get close to that. Now, it doesn't look like it's going to be either at the moment. I think Reinders might be going to City, but that's another story. Wirtz looks like he's going to Liverpool or Bayern, which is crazy, by the way. So Rice is going to be the 8, Zubimendi the 6, Ødegaard in the 10. That has to work now. If that's what Arteta's vision is now, it has to work, because I felt like the vision was going to be Rice in the 6, Marino in the 8, and then Ødegaard in the 10. We didn't get to see that due to injuries. And if I'm honest with you, I don't think that was ever going to be strong enough. Partey had to play. And I don't think that Mikel Arteta dreamed that Partey would play this much. I don't think he did this come season. The one just gone, I didn't think he imagined. And if I'm honest, he had the right. It was justifiable not to imagine that Partey would be available for this amount of time. So if there's a vision that Thomas Partey is going to be a backup to Zubimendi, cool. It's good strength in depth. And if I'm honest with you, what should really happen is Partey should stay in the 6 and Zubimendi should fight for his place. But if Zubimendi's coming in as that big signing, I think Arteta's going to start him, right? Rice then looks to go in that kind of 8 role, and then Ødegaard goes in the 10. Now, there could be a change around next season. We haven't spoken about this yet. I don't think this will happen, but we could go back to a 4-2-3-1, which, let's be real, was probably where we played our most successful football, because I've seen at times Granit Xhaka, since the Granit Xhaka kind of signing, we had a bit of a double pivot. And I've seen a double pivot before. Jorginho and Rice played it against City and Liverpool. We were brilliant, by the way. Won both games last season at home. That could happen next season. We could have Zubimendi and Rice in a double pivot. We could have Partey and Rice, or Partey and Zubimendi at games in a double pivot, with Ødegaard floating around the 10. Now, I don't actually believe Ødegaard is a 10. I will say that. I think he's more of an 8. But at the moment, he's looking to be playing in that right-hand side of the 10. Now, there's ways you can look at that. You can say, actually, Ødegaard's more of a right-sided 8 as well. We don't really play with a 10. But if we was to go with a 4-2-3-1, you'd have to play Ødegaard in that 10. And that's where I have my question marks. Now, the good thing about doing that would be that Ødegaard would be allowed to be on the left a little bit more, because he's very much right-sided. Him and Saka are quite a lot. And his passes are always going to the left, but he's not actually playing in that position, if that makes sense. He's not over towards the left-hand side. So I do think that there's a kind of question mark about our midfield still, even now, buying this. So, look, that's where I'm at with that. I think it'll be a good signing. I do think Zubimendi is a good footballer. From the little that I've seen and the little that I've heard, it's a very good signing. And it's one that Arteta's wanted. Now, I think Arteta's, if I'm honest, still trying to find his feet in certain positions. There's certain areas of the side in this 11, and I can't believe I'm saying this 5 years on, 31 players deep, but I'm going to say it. There's still question marks over certain positions in this first 11 that I don't think he's happy with. I think he's finally happy with the goalkeeper. I think he's finally happy with the right back, and I think he's happy with the centre-back pairing. I don't know that he's happy with the left back yet. I think it's Lewis-Skelly, but I don't know if he's definitely set on that. I don't know that he's happy with the 6, and that's why he's gone for Zubimendi. He's going to find out if Rice can play this 8 this coming season, but I'm not sure he's happy with it. He's definitely not happy with his left winger, because he's been trying to sign one for the last few years. And he's definitely not happy with our number 9, because, let's be real, well, you'd like to think he isn't. Anyway, who knows? Now, the good thing about that is, other than the 9, which we always question about whether Arteta actually wants a striker or not, the fans would agree with all those positions, right? The fans would probably agree that, yeah, left back, we love Lewis-Skelly, but is he actually a proper left back? Is he more of a midfielder? Excuse me. Are we happy with our 6 and our 8 trio in midfield? Are we happy with Ødegaard in the 10? Are we happy with Martinelli in the left? And are we happy with Havertz in the 9? So actually, when you look at the players we're linked with, you can kind of see why we are, yeah? As a fan base, we're questioning the same stuff that the manager is at the moment. Is he good enough for that role? Is he good enough for that role? Is that the guy that we see our future long-term with? And that's why this trio in midfield is going to be so important next season. Now, I've got to be honest with you. I think we're done in midfield. I don't think we're signing anybody after Zubimendi. I think we need to, but I don't think we're getting anybody else. If we are going to get anybody, it will be an attack midfielder. I don't think we get another number 8. And I definitely don't think we get another number 6. So if we look at what we've got, and this is if everybody stays and if nobody else leaves, we've got Thomas Partey, we've got Declan Rice, and we've got Zubimendi that can all play in the 6. In the 8 role, We've got Declan Rice, we've got Mikel Merino, and to be fair, we've got Ethan as well. In the attack at the moment, we've got Ødegaard and Ethan. I would say we're pretty short of a creative midfielder because if Ødegaard continues that form, we're going to struggle. He's not had a very good season. Now, if I'm honest with you, I don't know why in the last few games that meant nothing, we didn't see Ethan in the 10 and Ødegaard in the 8. I don't know why we didn't do that. Of a time where Rice and Partey were needed to be rested because they were playing too much football, at a time when we needed to see a little bit more of some of the players that we hadn't potentially seen, in a time when perhaps we had a time to experiment and try something different. I don't know why we didn't see that, because I do believe that Ethan Nwaneri is more of a 10 than Martin Ødegaard. And I actually believe that Martin Ødegaard is more of an 8 than Ethan Nwaneri. So I would have loved to have seen that. We've also got the question mark of Max Dowman, who's coming into the side. And right now, people are talking about this kid being one of the best of his age in world football, not just in England. Real Madrid are looking at him, Barcelona are looking at him, Bayern Munich are looking at him, Italy clubs are looking at him. They're all hearing the name Max Dowman. They're all looking at clips of him. They're all looking at everything that he's doing, thinking he's scoring at every club level in the country and club that he's playing at. He's looking phenomenal on the pitch. He's by far head and shoulders above everybody in that pitch. And like Blackbeard has said in the chat, he turns 16 in December. So this coming season, I don't think we're going to see Max Dowman as much as some people think. A lot of people are saying that Max Dowman's going to be this guy that comes in like Ethan Nwaneri and it's his turn next. And I'm sure that he'll be the next one that comes into the team. But I just don't think that it will be in the same bracket as Miles Lewis-Skelly and Ethan have this season. I could be wrong. The legalities have not allowed him to play this season. I think Mikel Arteta wanted to give him a couple of games. But I've got to be honest with you, playing a 15-year-old kid now, when you're so desperate to throw him in, your squad ain't strong enough. When you're desperate to see him. I'm desperate to see this kid in the reserves and in the League Cup games. Maybe we see a few minutes here and there in the Prem. I've just got to be honest. I don't think that we should be looking too much on this kid to say, give him a 90 minutes here and there. The guy has got to develop. He's got to physically develop. And he's got 3 or 4 years until his body stops growing. So he's got to strengthen up. He's got to get on the weights. He's got to let his body develop and play the right level of football for him and not jump into the deep end. At the same time, if you're old enough, you're good enough. Or if you're good enough, you're old enough, I should say. So at 15 years old, he's not going to be able to, I don't think, be an Arsenal regular. But at the same time, we can start seeing glimpses and snippets, can't we? And we've already seen them on Twitter. I mean, the guy looks... What? Put it this way, I ain't never seen a 14-year-old look that good. I ain't ever seen now a 15-year-old look that good. And I think by the time he hits 16 and 17, we'll be saying, wow, we thought Ethan and Miles Lewis-Skelly were good. That's what I've seen of this kid. He looks ridiculous. You know when Paul Merson mentioned Thierry Henry, how he used to run around everybody and everyone used to think it's like an adult running around the park with a bunch of 8-year-olds just literally skimming it past them. That's what Max Dowman is doing at his age group. Every game I've seen him, he's been head and shoulders above everybody. When I've seen him for England under 17s, he's been absolute head and shoulders above everybody. And if I'm honest with you, we lost 3-2 in the Youth Cup to Manchester United. And if it wasn't for Max Dowman, I think we would have lost quite comfortably. We lost 3-2. He was phenomenal. And if there was just 2 players that were 50% as good as Max Dowman, we would have won the game. He was so good. So good. So I don't want to overhype him and get you guys too much excitement. Go check him out for yourself. Put in Max Dowman on YouTube and just thank me later. I urge all of you to do that. This guy is going to be ridiculously good. Ridiculously good. So look, he's for me going to be put into the first team this coming season as kind of our number, hopefully he's number 25 that we had him in, right? And we get to see him in a few League Cup appearances and we get to see maybe him in a couple of Premier League appearances. Let's say we're 3-0 up against Brentford at home. He comes on with 10-15 and we get to see a bit of Max Dowman. That's how I think he'll be integrated this season. But I would say this. We still need another attacking midfielder. Cunha's gone to Manchester United, a player that a lot of people wanted. That's now done. Forget about that one. Florian Wirtz is an absolute pipe dream. It's not going to happen. It looks like he's going to Bayern Munich or Liverpool. So that leaves a couple of other names for me. There's only really 2 that I would be interested in looking at. One of them is the Villarreal attacking midfielder Alex Baena, who also plays at the left wing. He is a baller. He looks like a fantastic talent, and it's one that I'd be really interested in pursuing. I think he looks like a very special footballer, technically gifted, and would give us some creativity. The other player is the one that I probably would love us to sign in the Premier League, and that is, of course, Eze. Eze is someone I just think that we need to be trying to get involved in. He's got a release clause of around 68 million. I think it's an easy deal to get done. He's a big Arsenal fan. He's Premier League proven. That's where I'm at. And then there's the other player, of course, which is Xavi Simons, which people have spoken about. And I can see actually someone's spoken about it in the chat. It's going so quick. You lot are mad. It's just moved. So I think he would be a very good shout as well. However, if I had my order, it would be Eze, because I just think he's ready now, Premier League proven. Alex Baena, and then, of course, who we mentioned, Xavi Simons. I don't know that we're going to get an attacking midfield for sure, though. That's what I will say. I don't think that we're definitely guaranteed to get an attacking midfielder. And I think it would be a shame if we didn't, because I feel like we need one badly. But it looks like Zubimendi will be the first signing. But there's other news as well, and let's bring that up. The other news, of course, is that we have some contracts to sort out. And at the moment, it looks like Arsenal, alongside trying to bring players in, Andrea Berta and the team are working on trying to keep players here. Sami Mokbel has suggested that in addition to Zubimendi's imminent arrival, Arsenal want to sign a new centre forward. Now, we're going to come to that in a minute. Talks over new contracts for Saka, Saliba, Gabriel, Trossard, Partey, Lewis-Skelly and Ethan Nwaneri are also ongoing, right? Let's break that down a little bit more. The forward we're going to come to. Yesterday, we spoke about Gyokeres. We want it to be Gyokeres. I don't think I need to say much more on that, to be fair. There's no more news on that whatsoever, other than we believe we've offered around 70 million euros for Portuguese reports are suggesting for Victor Gyokeres. It looks like we've already pretty much agreed terms. So that one surely must be a here we go in the next few days. I'll be absolutely devastated if we don't get Victor Gyokeres. I really will. Zubimendi, imminent arrival. Hopefully Gyokeres next. Two brilliant signings. Let's pray Andrea Berta gets this one right. When we go for the new contracts here, there's a lot of people that we're talking to. Now, I'm absolutely fine with this amount of people, yeah? Because I've got to be honest, like this for me is very, very important. Very important. Big up to the Football Terrace, man. Make sure you go subscribe to the Football Terrace with Terry, KJ, and all the guys. Make sure you're doing that, please, people. Really important. You'll see me on there a lot, so please make sure that you go and show some love. I think they've just literally finished their match reaction, so there would have been a lot of Chelsea people on there getting very, very vocal. I imagine Don was probably on there. You know how it is. It's one of those. Me and him had a bit of a to and fro the other day. I think it was yesterday, actually. So there we go. I've just made you guys a mod as well. I can't believe that you aren't already. But big up to the Football Terrace and big up to everyone that's here locked in. Make sure you hit the likes, people, and the subscribes. We've only got 230 likes and there's 1.2k in here. So let's get the likes up because that's mad. We should be able to get 1,000 likes. We should be able to get 1,000 likes on this show. If you're watching it, even on catch up, make sure that you hit the like and subscribe button, people, if it isn't at 1,000. That's what I will say. So let's break this down. Bukayo Saka. I have no problem with him. I have no issue, or concerns about Bukayo Saka not staying at Arsenal. I think he loves the club. He's an Arsenal boy. I think he sees his future here long term. I feel like the rumours and reports are suggesting the £300,000 a week thing is probably a thing. Let's get it done. Then we move to William Saliba. I genuinely do believe that we're going to keep William Saliba at the club this summer. But he's the one I have question marks over when it comes to signing a new deal. And that is going to make things very sticky for Arsenal. Do they sell him this summer? Do they sell him next summer for less? Or do they try to keep the risk that we just keep him and allow him to sign at some point? Saliba's got to sign this summer for me. He's got to. And I believe truly that he'll wear a Real Madrid shirt one day, but I don't think it will be this season. If he signs a new deal, which runs till 2027, if he signs one to 2030, then of course we've kept him for the majority of his time. And he can still get to 28 and go, do you know what? I'm going to go Real Madrid. But for now, we need to keep him at Arsenal because he's one of our best players. When it comes to Gabriel, I've got to be honest, I'm in the same boat. We need to keep him. We can't form a partnership of Gabriel and Saliba and not win anything with it and let it break up. We absolutely have to keep Gabriel. Now, there's reports that Saudi are interested. We have to poo-poo those rumours and get him signed here. He needs to stay. Trossard, a little bit different with Trossard. If he wants to stay and he's happy to sign, I actually genuinely am okay if he wants to be a squad player. But that is all he's going to be. Trossard is not good enough now to start every week and win us the title. He's not good enough to play left wing or striker every week as a first teamer. He is a squad player. He brings in brilliant impact, and I like him a lot. If he wants to stay, calm. If he wants to go Saudi and there's a bid that comes in, I think we should sell him. That's where I'm at with Trossard. Thomas Partey, we've spoken about. Give him what he wants. Keep him for a year with a year extension option. I think he needs to stay at Arsenal. And then it comes to Lewis-Skelly and Ethan Nwaneri, which, to be fair, I think it's obvious, right? Those have just got to sign long-term deals. They've both been the shining light of what has been quite a poor season. We look around this season, you think, right, London clubs are winning trophies. It's mad. Chelsea have won. Tottenham have won. Palace have won. Then you look at Newcastle and Liverpool that have won. And then you're going to look at the Champions League that we've all wanted to win and be in the final of at least, and we're not in that either. So now it's been a disaster. When Chelsea are winning cups and Tottenham are winning cups and even Palace are winning cups, it's not good. It ain't good. When it's only West Ham, Fulham and Brentford that are looking alongside Arsenal without a trophy in London, it's a bad season. So these are the two shining lights. Lewis-Skelly has been phenomenal. I see judges giving player of the season for Arsenal. Not my player of the season, but certainly deserves a hell of a lot of credit. I would have given it to Jurriën Timber personally, but yeah, I can understand why Lewis-Skelly's getting a mention in people's players at the teams of the season and stuff like that, because he's been fantastic and he's been phenomenal. And Ethan is the same. For me, Ethan's going to be a superstar. I think he's going to be world class. I'll say it. I think he's going to be world class. He's better now than what Bukayo Saka was at 17. He's better now than what some of the other kids that have come through that are known as world class, like Cole Palmer and Jude Bellingham and Phil Foden and all these guys were at 17. Ethan Nwaneri is a baller, people. Yeah, trust me. Get these guys signed up big time because it needs to happen. It needs to happen. Left wing. Let's talk about it. It's a position we need. And this guy is always spoken about. Now, I know not a lot of people talk about Nico Williams in a good light. And if I'm honest with you, I haven't seen enough of him. We need a left winger, but I do not want to see Nico Williams in an Arsenal shirt. And I'll tell you why. I do not believe Nico Williams takes us to the next level. I've not seen enough quality from Nico Williams to suggest that he's any better than what Gabby Martinelli is. I think Gabby Martinelli looks just as direct, just as pacey, scores as many goals, gets as many assists. And yes, he didn't light up Spain in the Euros. But other than that, what has Nico Williams done to impress? Against Atletico Bilbao, I saw them play Man United. I thought he absolutely stunk out the gaff. And for me, it's not good if we get this guy. Now, I'm not saying he won't be good. I'm not saying he's not got potential to get better. He's very young. He's a pacey winger. Arteta seems to want him. He's obsessed with him, wants a plan for him. I do not believe this would be a world-class signing. But Mikel Arteta does want him. And reports are suggesting that on the left wing, Nico Williams is Arsenal's priority. His wages makes it a difficult deal to do. Now, I think this guy's suggesting that he wants over £300,000 a week or something mad like that. That's a hell of a lot for someone who's unproven at the club. And we made the big mistake of doing that with Havertz and Jesus. If we do that with him as well, that means you've got to put Saka, Martinelli, Gabriel, Saliba, and co on £300,000 a week, all of them. Because they deserve it, because that's what everybody else is on, right? It says here that Rafael Leao and Jamie Gittins have been looked at too. We've also heard that Lookman is one of the guys that we're looking at too, and of course Rodrigo. Now, let me be real. Let me break down this left wing position. I'm a big fan of Martinelli. Wouldn't be a shame if I saw Martinelli stay at Arsenal. Gabriel Martinelli, I think, needs to stay at Arsenal, if I'm honest. And if one had to go, it would be Trossard for me. Out the two. Just because Trossard's got to that age at 30 where you think maybe he can't really improve anymore. Martinelli's still got something in the locker. Martinelli's got pace. He's more direct and he's, I think, just as good as finishing. Actually, that's a lie. I think Trossard's a better finisher. But listen, he can score goals is my point. But we do need an upgrade. Nico Williams, I don't see as an upgrade. Lookman, I think, is an upgrade. Rafael Leao potentially is. Jamie Gittins is not, but he does look very good. and very promising. But that's the Sesko signing for me. The one that might be ready in a couple of years. I don't want a signing like that. Rodrigo's the one we've got to get. Now, there's suggestions that he doesn't want to leave Real Madrid now and that Xabi Alonso wants him to stay and there's no chance that he's leaving. And if that's the case, we move on from it. I'm glad we're in there. I'm glad we've got the ambition to go for it. But I've just got to be honest with you. I don't think it's happening. I just got a gut feeling that ain't going to be the case. It ain't going to be. So I think if we ain't going to get Rodrigo, the best we can do is Lookman. I actually prefer Lookman to Rafael Leao. I do. I think Lookman has got a lot more about his game. And I think that although Rafael Leao has got more physical attributes, not by much, but he has, I think he throws his toys out the pram way too much. I think he's a little bit one of those prima donna types who just makes a bit of a problem and causes a stir, becomes a nuisance in the dressing room. A lot of people are saying that Leao is someone to avoid because he's a nightmare. I don't know that to be the case. A lot of people tell me that Rafael Leao on his day is better than anybody, but Rafael Leao doesn't have enough of them days. And I'm coming from people that watch Serie A, not me. I don't watch Serie A. I just think with my eye test, I look at what Leao does on YouTube and he looks one of the best players ever. If I looked at what Leao does consistently in Serie A, I'm being told it ain't good enough. Then I look at what Lookman's doing, and with my eyes, he looks pretty good. And at consistent level, I'm hearing that he's pretty good. Team of the season again, one of the best players out there in Serie A. That is what I want to hear. So I've got to be honest. Yeah. I know people in the chat are saying Leao's not good enough and he's had a bad season. Rah, rah, rah. Look, I've got to be honest. Like, that's where I'm at. Let's bring some of these up, man. Leao, no. Leao is all sizzle, no steak. I love that. Leao's had a bad season. I don't like Leao. Then some people are saying Leao's a baller. Leao is better than is way better than Lookman. Look, Leao is then trash. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of difference of opinions on Rafael Leao. Jamie Gittins is literally a raw talent at, I think, 20 years old. That's going to take a couple of years to get involved in Premier League football. He is English. He's playing over at Dortmund. And of course, he's a player that a lot of people are looking at. He scored some great goals. But Rodrigo is the guy I want. I've got to be honest. Rodrigo is the guy that I want. And is the guy that I've wanted for some time. So that's where I'm at. But there is, of course, another name. And you've seen it, I'm sure. We are being linked with him. And I knew we were going to be linked with him. Let me just be honest with you. Yes. Leroy Sane. It was so obvious this was going to be happening. He's a free transfer, people. Arsenal are targeting a move for Sane. Arteta worked with Sane at City. He wants to target a winger this summer. Bayern Munich have been in talks with him. He's out of contract at the club next month and he's attracted interest from several teams. That's from Gary Jacob. Now, Tottenham are also interested, I'm hearing, in Leroy Sane. Is this the sort of player that we need? 29, I think he is. Premier League proven. Lost a little bit of pace. Still scores goals. Has had good seasons at Bayern Munich. But this would not excite me like Rodrigo. He's a fantastic player and has been for quite some time. Let me just check his stats out. I do think he scored some goals this season. He scored 11 goals and got 5 assists in 30 games. It's actually his best season in Bundesliga in terms of goal scoring. I'll give him that. They have done really well, Bayern Munich, this season, and they've obviously been successful domestically. What do we think? Let me know in the chat. Just a yes or a no. Do you want to see Sane at Arsenal? Just a yes or a no, people. That's all I need. Yes if you want him. No if you don't want him. Let's see what you are saying. I've got a lot of people already. Nope. Sane's watched. That's a hell no. Just not for us, Dan. Big up to you, Ryan. DJ Dens is really injury prone. Yeah, that's actually true. Mum says no. DJ Den says no. Hell no from NVR. We've got 49 Gooners, no. We got no. We got hell no. No from Ali. Hope you're well, bro. No. Yes, Tony says. A lot more no's than yeses. A lot more no's. We've got another yes there, but a lot of no's coming in. Red Rose says yes, no, yes, no. Wow, there's quite a lot of people that are saying no. I've got to be honest, if this is the Leroy Sane we're getting of 24 years old, I'm taking him all day long. At 29, I'm not sure that I'm a fan. And that might be a little bit harsh on him. I'm sure that he probably is better than Martinelli. I'm sure. I'm sure he is. And I'm not saying he'd be a terrible signing. But this kind of stinks of we got it wrong with Sterling, so we're not going to do that again, but we are going to get the cheaper option again. And we just get a bit of a better Sterling. That's probably a bit of an insult to Sane because he's much better than Sterling. But you get my drift. I don't want that to be Arsenal's signing. I've got to be honest. I don't want that to be Arsenal's left wing signing. And this is what I was suggesting about there being a real kind of problem at Arsenal or a kind of worry, I would say, right? Look, if we end up being linked with Gyokeres and Rodrigo and end up with Sesko and Sane, I will kick off. I will. I don't think that will happen because I have reassurance Berta won't allow that to be the case. But I just always feel nervous with it. I always do. A lot of people bringing up Eze in the chat for kind of someone who could play left wing and attacking mid. That's why I want him. But look, Sane, I just think it's an underwhelming one out of the two. I just think it is. I just think it is. You know, I really do. And I don't want that. I just do not want that. You know, I just really don't want that. So let's hope and pray that that is not something that's true. And then, of course, we move to the striker situation. And, we reported yesterday news on Victor Gyokeres. I wanted to bring up some more news that was kind of broke not long after that we ended the stream for that show. Gyokeres looks like he's the guy that we want. Whenever you type in Gyokeres now, there's Arsenal links everywhere. It does sound pretty promising, is what I would say. Apparently, we've held talks with Sporting striker Gyokeres' agent in Lisbon, and we've made a £59 million offer to sign the Swedish international. Now, 70 million euros was what I heard. I think if you do the maths, that works out around £59 million. Whether that's going to get accepted or not, I don't know. If I'm honest with you, I think it was around that. I think we're trying to obviously haggle. It would just be nice if we could get an understanding. Now, listen, it's a bit confusing about this one. Yes, there is a release clause. It's £84 million or 100 million euros. But that has now dropped from what my understanding is. And it's not a release clause that's dropped. It's Sporting have said, we're going to let this guy go. We don't want 84 million. We would happily take around 65, which is why we're now starting with 59 million. So, look, they're probably going to reject that if that is a true bid that's gone in, right? We have to also respect that we don't want to piss them off. Yeah? We don't want to piss Sporting off. We've got to say, we're serious about him. And at least we've gone in with a fair bid. If we would have gone in with like 30 million, I think they would have laughed and then just said, yeah, don't phone us again. But to go in with 59 million as a starter, I think is fair. I think we'd be willing to go up to 70 million pounds. And do you know what? We should. He's absolutely worth the punt. It is a bagsman. This guy, I've told you about his stats. Unbelievable. So that for me is something that I'd be seriously interested in. And it's a player that I like a lot. And I've said to you guys, if it ain't Isak, I want it to be this guy. Because for me, Isak is unobtainable. Victor Gyokeres is the guy we have to go and get now. And he's absolutely smashing it over in Portugal. Now, people don't like that because it's like it's Portugal. It's not that. Like, it's it's one of those. But I've got to be honest with you. I personally really badly want him. Like, I really badly want him. I think he's going to be the guy. And I think he could be an absolute beast and a monster for us. I just think he could score goals. I think he could be that guy that when you create that chance, he's the guy that you're talking about, getting on the end of it. And we've seen, haven't we, with kind of chances created. Havertz has missed. Jesus has missed. I think there is, for me, it has to be him. Like it has to be this guy. So let's see. Let's watch this space and let's see what happens. I wanted to finish on the Thierry Henry comments because I watched the overlap today and I thought he was absolutely outstanding. I did. I thought he was brilliant. And I wanted to get some of your thoughts on it in the chat about what you thought. So before we do that, let's bring up some of the super chats. We've got Ben Washbrook, who's brought in a super sticker. Thank you so much, Ben. I really appreciate it. We've got Ramsey, who said, what phase is Maresca in? Up the Chelsea. Big up, Dan, watching from the US. Big up to you, bro. Congratulations. And you're right. What phase is he in? And we've got Suj, who's always a super chatter, always a regular listener, and a good friend of us. Big up, Dan, in the community. Over 1.2K. There's actually nearly 1.4K in here now, which is insane. Let's get those likes up to 1,000. Let's get to 1,000 likes, people. Hit the like and subscribe. 2 buttons that are free. Let's do that now. Let's see them shoot up. I can see us go after Nico Williams, which is not a perfect fit. Or Suj, you're right. We've just gone on about the left wing situation, why I don't think he would be the guy. But I want to finish on the Thierry Henry comments. And first of all, I wanted to share what he said, which was actually quite surprising to me, about the number 9 position and the one that he says Arsenal should go and get, or that he believes would be the best fit. And he actually said Julian Alvarez. Now, I'm not saying that's the worst decision to be bringing up names like that, because he's been proven in the Argentinian League, Manchester City Premier League, and of course in La Liga at Atletico Madrid. And you see what sort of goals he's scoring. He has been very, very impressive. And this would be something that I would 100% look at. But I want this, because I'm greedy, alongside Gyokeres, which I think is potentially unrealistic, because I imagine Julian Alvarez will probably be around about £80 million and Gyokeres is around about 70. Are we going to spend 150 million on these two? I would love that. But I don't think we go and get a left winger like Rodrigo if we do that personally. But if you're bringing me Eze, Julian Alvarez and Gyokeres, I'm taking it as a brilliant summer. Let me tell you that. Thierry Henry said, my favourite number 9 out there at the minute is Julian Alvarez. I really like him. Now, just because Henry likes him doesn't mean Arsenal are going to go and sign him. Obviously, what they've then done is put him in an Arsenal shirt alongside Thierry Henry to get a little bit of clickbait so people start talking about it. And you know what? That's how it works. I see Harry Simu talking about it on Chronicles of a Gooner. Big up to him every time. He was saying that he would actually be someone that he would be really excited about Arsenal looking at the potential to pursue to get. I think he's a very good player. Very, very good player. But I've got to be honest with you, I would prefer Victor Gyokeres, because I just look at the numbers and think this is insane. Now, Julian Alvarez, to be fair to him, has scored some goals this season, and he's been a brilliant signing. And if I'm honest with you, Andrea Berta knows him pretty well, right? He was the one who signed him. He's got 17 goals in 37 games in La Liga, in a top league as well. So for me, it would be a very good signing. Can he lead the line for Arsenal? Well, he weren't able to, but then for Man City, but then they had Haaland. So it's different. For me, he would be good in the kind of 10 role. If you had him and Gyokeres up top for Arsenal, whew, wow, goals galore, in my opinion. Absolute goals galore. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think we are genuinely interested in him. I think that we might be one of the clubs that might be interested in talking about his availability, but I don't think that we have got the genuine number 1 priority target. I think it's more of a toss-up between Sesko and Gyokeres than it is between Alvarez and Gyokeres and Sesko. So for me, I think, like, at the moment, I've got to be honest, I think Gyokeres is the guy that looks like his favourite to come. And I'm praying and crossing, I've got everything crossed, that this is going to be the case. Now let's finish on the Thierry Henry comments, because I've got to be honest with you, I'm being quite stunned by this. And I did put a tweet out and it rattled everybody that does not like me on Twitter and that thinks that I'm a scumbag and that I just want Arteta out and I hate Arsenal and rah, 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 and all this crap. But actually what I wanted to talk about was his comments, because what makes me laugh is when it is a pundit saying it, they normally shout them down. When it is a legend that says it of your club, for some reason, the fans still start to slag him off. And I cannot believe what I'm hearing. Thierry Henry has made some very genuine, clear, quite factual comments, and people are saying he's jealous of Mikel Arteta and he just wants his job and all this. No, Thierry Henry just wants to win. Yeah. So let me know what your thoughts were in the chat while I read through this, because this was what he said. So Thierry Henry was asked on the lack of trophies at Arsenal. He said, I understand that at the very beginning for Arteta, you arrive and it's not your team. You need at the very least 3 or 4 transfer windows to change everything you want to. Mikel Arteta has had 11 transfer windows at Arsenal so far. It takes time, and you have to give a manager time to be able to implement what he wants to do. Now, for the last 3 years, Arsenal have been in a situation where they should have at least bought 1 cup or be in 1 final. Manchester United have played in 5 finals in the last 5 years. The Manchester United that everybody laughs at. Whereas for Arsenal, in the last 3 years of building, they've not reached 1 final. So I do understand when people ask the question, surely by now you should complete it for a trophy. I'm not saying I'm disappointed with Arsenal, but it's normal that people are raising questions now about what the team is doing. What is he saying there that is not nothing but facts? What's he saying there that's nothing but facts? Thierry Henry is not one to sit and say, I am happy with trusting this process. Thierry Henry is a winner. Thierry Henry is the GOAT. Thierry Henry is the greatest player the Premier League seen. He is, in my opinion, after Dennis Bergkamp, the best player to wear the shirt. He is an absolute legend of Arsenal. And people are sitting there slagging him off on Twitter. Arsenal fans. Oh, this guy's just jealous. He don't understand what Super Mick's doing. What are we doing here? The guy's questioning what Arsenal are doing. Can they get a trophy across the line? He's speaking absolute facts. Mikel Arteta doing a good job at Arsenal, he said. Very positive. But he needs to be delivering now. What's wrong with that? Oh, he doesn't get it. He's toxic. He's negative. Wow. He's just jealous. Why doesn't he take over Arsenal then if he thinks he can do a better job? Oh, my God, man. Real talk. What's happening here? It's a joke, man. Big up to Igal in the chat. Make sure you're following Igal. Igal's going to be on here tomorrow at 4 o'clock, so make sure you go show him some love. And I'm going to jump on his at some point to do a bit of a season review with him. Always enjoyed doing content with Igal. Big up to him. He says, Dan, we're good. Don't stress. Igal, you've known me long enough, bro. When am I not stressed? I've just seen Chelsea win another bloody cup, man. Do you know what I'm saying? Tottenham, Chelsea, Palace, Newcastle, Liverpool. When's it our turn, Igal? When's it our turn? We're only in phase 4, right? When do we start winning trophies? Is it phase 6 on your little spreadsheet or whatever it was? Come on, man. Big up to you, bro. But come on, guys. Real talk. What's happening here? Was he talking absolute sense? Or was that just me? I thought he was absolutely factually correct in what he was saying. I'm not a huge lover of building. I think when they asked him, Arsenal were building something, and he said they're building a proper tower. That building must be really tall because they've been building forever. So look, we've got people in the chat. Let's see what you guys are saying, man. Ryan thinks he was talking absolute facts. I'm with you, bruv. I think he absolutely was. DJ says talking sense. Kwame says 100% he was. And AJ's right. They're not Arsenal fans. They're Arteta fans. How can you be sticking up for Arteta not winning in 5 years over Thierry Henry questioning why he's not? How can you believe? I mean, it's absolutely crazy. It really is. Like, it's mad. It really is. Never. Here we go. Henry is jealous and the sky's green. Fair play, man. King Henry can say what the hell he wants. I totally agree. Not Arsenal fans, they're Arteta fans. And this is the problem we've got. There are a lot of the fan base that will protect Mikel Arteta over anything. And this is the equivalent of allowing your kid to just do what he wants. If you allow your kid to do what they want, trust me, they're going to have a terrible you're going to have a terrible time because of it. Yeah. And you want to treat Arsenal like your kid most of the time. Oh, they're there. You got third in a sports day race. Well done. That's the equivalent of what we're doing. We've come second. Yes. We were 8th, remember? We shouldn't have been 8th. Yeah. It's like Usain Bolt running around an athletics track and getting a hammy and then coming 8th and then thinking, crikey, oh, my hamstring's good now. Now I've won. Hey, look, we were 8th. We were 8th. We should have been 8th. He pulled a bloody hamstring. What are we doing here? Real talk, man. I can't believe some of the comments I was hearing from Thierry Henry getting absolutely destroyed on Twitter. I'm sick of it. Sick of it. Thierry Henry is trying to raise the standards and keep them high. Yeah, Thierry Henry won trophies at Arsenal. He won trophies at Barcelona. He was a successful footballer. And he is making comments on a very unsuccessful person at the moment in Mikel Arteta. And people are sticking up for the unsuccessful person over the successful person. Now, Righty, who's my hero, sits there awkwardly in silence because he can't say anything because obviously he believes that everything he's saying is facts, but he can't admit that because obviously he's trying to stay all in the good books and stuff. And I get that. And I appreciate that. And I love Righty. I never have a bad word said about him. He's my hero, right? But Thierry Henry's spitting facts. And, you know, Carragher's going, wow, refreshing to hear. Roy Keane's like, facts. Because that's what Roy Keane does. He just says it how it is. He don't care if it's United. He's played for them for ages. He's slagged them off more than anyone in where the position they're at. And this is why I love pundits like Thierry Henry, pundits like Roy Keane, pundits like Paul Merson, pundits like Emmanuel Petit, because what they're doing is they're saying, time to win, Arsenal. You won when I was playing for you. Time to win. And unfortunately, you've got other pundits that played for the club that don't want to go, oh, I better not because I've got to keep things sweet with the club. Come on, man. Like, let's just be real. Let's just be real. It's crazy for me. Like, it's crazy. I've got to be honest. It's a madness, if I'm honest. Igal's texting me, come on, mate. Henry is wrong. Can you believe it? Right, let me send the link to Igal. He's coming on, man. I can't have this. What is he doing? Let me get Igal on. Igal, you're coming on. I'm sending you it now. I want you to explain to me why he's wrong. I know you're late, but you got 10 minutes, I'm sure. DFA 9D. Oops. Is he gonna? Dan, come on, mate. Henry is wrong. Why is Thierry Henry wrong, Igal? Come on. I've sent you the link, Igal. Jump on. I wanted to wrap the show within an hour, so you got 5 minutes to jump on and tell me why. Here we go. He's here. Let's talk. Where is he?
What's going on,
bro? What are you saying?
Listen, he's categorically wrong about the Sterling point. The Sterling point?
Talk to me.
Did you hear what he said about Sterling?
No, I didn't actually. Go on.
He tried to say that Arteta is the reason why Sterling is there, and Arteta wanted Sterling, and he chose not to get a striker. His exact words were, he got Sterling when everybody wanted a 9, as if he did not want a striker. And then he went out of his way to say that everyone was screaming for a number 9, apart from when we won against Madrid, of course, right? But we need a 9. Arteta said on numerous occasions, he's not against getting a striker. It's just the club did not deliver on the striker. And we're acting as if he has all the decision-making in the transfer window.
Can I come back on one point quickly?
Yeah.
Why did Mikel Arteta then, when he signed Thierry Henry, when he signed Raheem Sterling, why did Arteta say within 10 minutes, I knew I'd made the right decision?
Bro, you're going to cope. You're going to say whatever the hell you have to say to get to when you bring a player through the door.
So he was lying then. So he was lying then.
No, but everyone, when they sign a player, they're going to look at it from the perspective of it's going to work out. You're not going to look at it from the perspective of it, oh, it's going to flop. How many players are you going to see somebody sign and be like, you know what, I never wanted in the first place? Who does that?
No. I know he would never say that, but you just keep your mouth shut.
You're asked in an interview about a player. You keep your mouth shut. That's an admission of guilt that you feel like the player's not going to be.
No, what you do though, if someone says Raheem Sterling, you say it's a player I know, it's a player I've worked with before, and he wants to come here, and we want to try and he wants to try and help us this season, something like that. You don't say within 10 minutes I knew this guy was the one that I knew I'd made the right decision. Like, come on, man, you put a lot of pressure on yourself. This has probably gone down as bad as the Willian signing, Sterling. So why was Thierry Henry wrong with what he said? What else did he? Because I thought he was spitting facts.
I think he's completely wrong to point out the Raheem Sterling point as if, instead of getting a striker, we decided to get Raheem Sterling, as if we had a goddamn choice. It was late.
Was this on the overlap?
Yeah, it was on the overlap. His exact words, he got Raheem Sterling when everyone wanted a 9, as if Arteta did not want a number 9.
Why has he not bought a 9? Let's quickly ask this question then. Why have we not got a striker in 5 years? Talk to me.
First of all, we got Jesus. That's one. Number two, the
club.
Number two, the club turned down the option to sign Isak because it was 15 million over their valuation. Is that on Arteta?
Who told you that?
The Athletic.
David Ornstein.
Yeah.
Okay, so you think that?
Sorry, you were laughing. Is David Ornstein not a credible source?
No. It's just I knew you were going to say it because you always it's a thing you and Lee gonna have, right? You always.
Lee
laugh.
hates David Ornstein. I know.
Yeah. I don't hate any of them. I don't have any say on who's better than who. I think that I'm impartial, right? But I'll say this: I don't think we can look at one person on this scenario. So I'm with you. It's not just Mikel Arteta, but when someone says this summer you have this amount of money, and you spend it on Marino and Calafiori instead of one of the strikers that we could have got. Let's not go through the lists again because we all know the lists are. I don't think we can look at anybody else but Mikel Arteta on that because I don't think the board have said, "Oh, no, you're not allowed a striker, mate. You've got to get Calafiori and Marino." That's where I don't get it. That's where I don't get
I think whenever Henry is given an opportunity to criticize Arsenal and Arteta, he is not being 100% objective. There's times where I feel like he's overdoing it. And my main point is about the number 9 part, is because for you to sit there and to put all the blame on the manager for the recruitment, for the signings, for every single player that walks through the door is crazy to me, because Arteta does not have all the control. There's a lot of things that are not in his control, and one of those things is which specific players come through the door, because there's definitely players he's wanted in the past. He wanted Sesko last summer. He wants Sesko now. Sesko is not going to be joining us. It's probably going to be Gyokeres. He wanted Isak. He wanted Isak back then. We didn't end up getting him. Guys wanted Bruno G back then. We didn't end up getting him. There's a lot of players we wanted. We did not end up getting. And there are some players that maybe he's like, you know what? Maybe this is the best option of what's available that didn't necessarily work out. But regardless, I feel like we're super critical on that specific point. When he talks about trophies and getting to finals, to me, he's not wrong about getting to finals. We should get to more finals. We should be more competitive in the cup competitions. That part I fully agree with. The part that I disagree with is he acts like we didn't compete. The fact that we competed the last 2 years for the league is the equivalent to getting to a final and losing. He's crediting Manchester United for getting to finals and losing, but in the same breath, not giving Arsenal any credit for competing in the league for the last 2 years prior to that. And then he says, we didn't compete this year. I don't care if we didn't compete this year.
Why do people need to give us credit for competing?
No. Because he's not being consistent. He's not being consistent. Now, as much as Henry's a legend, you can dispute his point. His point is objectively wrong. For him to say Arsenal did not compete on any level is wrong. We definitely
didn't compete this season.
We definitely competed for the league the last 2 years. For him to say we did not
this season.
Forget about this season. He specifically pointed out getting to finals. Okay, we didn't get to finals, but did we not compete to the final days for the last 2 league titles? Did we not compete for the last 2 league titles? It's a thing where he's almost like ignoring one thing and then shifting the blame to something else.
But you know what I think his point is, and I think his facts? He actually said, and it wasn't about we haven't won a league yet. It was we haven't got to a final yet. We haven't won a cup yet. And I think that's fair, because one thing I've done is remain consistent about this. I actually am not as negative of what people say I am, because I've said his minimum expectation is to compete for the Premier League and to win a trophy alongside it. A lot of people have said, no, he's got to win a Premier League, mate, or he's gone. I've not said that next season. I would be quite happy to win a trophy, whether it's a Champions League, a Premier League, and if it's not one of those two, win one of the domestic cups and compete to the last day of the season if you come second call, because we've actually lifted something. Now, Thierry Henry is saying that, win a trophy, because in the last 5 years, he said, we'll go about Man United. We've just seen Palace, Chelsea and Spurs and Newcastle all lift trophies this season and alongside Liverpool. This ain't good enough, Igal. This squad is good enough to win a trophy. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So why are we not, man?
Simply put, we prioritized the league the last 2 years prior, and this year we just were far off it due to injuries and other things. But the reality of the situation is I don't disagree with him on the trophies part. I disagree with him on the part where he chooses to focus on one thing and ignores other factors.
Okay, let me ask you this before we close. Let's try and be a bit more positive. Link with Zubimendi, medical looks booked. Gyokeres is our number 1 target, we believe.
That's going to get.
I hope so. There's rumors of a left winger coming in as well. Talk to me about this window. What do you expect?
Let me ask you a question before we go into this window. Do you understand why people are melting down over the goalkeeper situation?
Not really. No, I'm with you on that one. We need a goalkeeper that's a backup. We're going to lose Neto.
Yesterday, people were losing their shit. They're basically saying we have the opportunity to sign an Alisson or Courtois level goalkeeper for 20 million at this moment in time, and we're missing out on it.
Who is it?
Joao Garcia.
What? He's not Alisson Edison level.
No, they're saying potential.
Oh, okay. Potentially, he could be brilliant.
He's tall. He's really good shot stopper. He might not be good at kicking as much as Ederson or Alisson, but apparently this Garcia guy, it could be a generational keeper. Now, if we're missing out on the Mbappe of goalkeepers for 20 million, are you going to be upset?
Yeah, well, listen, I didn't think he was that good. I mean, I heard he was quite a good goalkeeper. I didn't think he was going to be a Mbappe style level of goalkeeper. I'm hearing that Newcastle and City want him, right? But he's going to want first team football. We can't
There's
offer him
no
that.
chance, no chance he goes to Newcastle.
Why?
No chance he goes to Newcastle. I'm telling you right now, this guy is the next top keeper in the world. He's going to end up at Man City or Chelsea.
Probably Man City then.
Yeah, but he already told Barcelona run up because of the Espanyol and Barcelona beef. But he's definitely coming to the Premier League. We missed out. Edu and these guys didn't want to pay an extra 5 million or something like that last year.
Oh my God, really? That is embarrassing. Yeah, I've heard good things. Even Lee Gunner has said that he's really good and he watches.
Oh, man's in a relegation battle and he has like 16 man of the matches as a keeper.
Wow. But how much is he? Like 25 million?
20 million. 21.
He's not going to come Arsenal though, is he? And sit on the bench.
Apparently, Arsenal have had the most conversations with him, but it's a situation where if Man City can offer him first team football guarantee start, and Chelsea can offer him first team football guarantee start, that's going to be a big blow. So already we're starting behind the ball there. Then I'm worried that we're not going to get Ederson. I mean, not Ederson. What's it called, Rodrigo? Because Man City, they're going to be willing to pay ridiculous money. If Real Madrid if Real Madrid want to sell Rodrigo to Bayern or Man City, he's probably going to go to those guys before us because they might be willing to pay more money. So that's where I'm worried also. I think Gyokeres and Zubimendi is going to happen. I don't like the Leroy Sane links. I think it's bullshit. What I'm waiting for to see is, also the stuff about Morgan Gibbs-White is bullshit also. There's no way we're spending £100 million on Morgan Gibbs-White in this window when we have so much things to do.
I'd rather get Eze.
I think keep an eye on the Valencia centre-back that they were talking about.
Oh, yeah. Who is this guy? What's his name? He's got a long name, right?
Mosquito or something like that?
Mosquito. Is that his name?
I don't know. What's his name? Something M, right?
Mosquera. Is it Mosquera? Christian.
That's where I messed up the name. I thought it was Mosquito.
Yeah, you're right. Mosquera. Yeah, Mosquera. 20-year-old centre-half and 6'2" centre-back. Is he right-sided?
I don't even know, man. All I know is he's one of those guys where if we don't sign him now, somebody else is going to sign him, and then he's going to be worth like 80 million in like a year.
Yeah, I don't know anything about him. If I'm
just cautious to sign players from Valencia because of the whole Mustafi project.
Yeah, the last centre back we bought from Valencia was Mustafi.
Hey, I think the Henry debate really comes down to not Arteta in or Arteta out, but just nitpicking the words that he chooses to use and how he speaks. But when it comes to this transfer window, I'm not worried, Dan. I'm not worried. People are panicking too much. Liverpool look like they're getting
kind
4
of
deals.
reassured by Berta.
Yeah, Berta's doing well.
I think
but the main thing is
good. He's a right-sided centre back, by the way. So I'd like to look at that.
The main thing I'm looking for this window is just make sure you have all the pieces ready to go before preseason. So Zubimendi, Gyokeres, the left winger. If we're gonna get in an additional midfielder or two, midfielder or something else, please have them all ready before preseason. The only players you don't necessarily need before preseason is the backup keeper and like a backup center back or something like that. You know what? I was listening to Christian's Christian, that's his name, right? The gentleman that was on last time. He did a TikTok where he asked ChatGPT what Arsenal need to win the league, and ChatGPT said we need another centre back and midfielder.
No, mate. Do you know what probably we do? We need so much, bro. Like I was on, I think it was Marty who said we need 3 players, and he was like, we need Eze, we need Williams, and we need Gyokeres, like something like that. And I was like, we need so much more than that. Like for me, like I really am worried about us being short again because of the players that are going to leave. Like, let's be real, the goalkeeper situation, I'm not in meltdown if we don't get Joan Garcia because he wants first team football. We can't offer him that unless Joan Garcia is better than Raya, right? So that one's not going to happen. I don't really care who we get in, if I'm honest with you. I don't even care if it's Cole Hines back up. They're never really going to play, right? But in defense, we do need a right-sided.
Injuries can happen.
Yeah, look, they can, and it would be a
Look at
sod
this
draw
year.
that happens.
Allison went down.
But,
Who stepped up?
yeah, I mean, look, John Garcia would be great, but I don't see it happening personally. In the chat, we're in the we need in real talk, we need the right-sided centre back, and if that Mosquera is going to come in, I'm cool with that. Joel Harto's linked as well. He's the more left-sided centre back, and then obviously
He's gonna
Zubimendi
cost
coming
a
in.
pretty penny though.
Yeah, I think he's about 40 million or something. Yeah, like Simba was.
If he
Zubimendi,
comes in though, I wouldn't be surprised if Miles Lewis-Skelly goes into midfield and he starts at left back.
maybe. Or we have, I think Kivior will go if Harto comes in.
People saying it's bedtime, guys. I don't have work tomorrow. That's the only reason why I'm up.
To be fair, yeah, I was like, I'll do a show. I'll get off by midnight, which is probably going to happen because we're going to wrap up now. But yeah, man. Up top, Gyokeres over Sesko, right? Please tell me that.
Yeah. Look,
Yeah.
I've been watching. You know what? I spent my whole morning watching scouting reports. I watched about 5 of them, and
Okay.
and what I've denounced from the scouting reports is very simple. Sesko is the better player overall, but he's not ready to be a goal scoring striker at a top like caliber yet. Where Gyokeres, what he's better at, he's a better ball striker. He's better with both feet. He like ball striking with both feet. He doesn't have a weak foot to the level where Sesko does. He might not be as good in the air. He's terrible in the air, to be fair. Like he doesn't really do well holding up the ball. But in what he lacks in those positions, he does well in tight spaces. In tight spaces when it comes to like his footwork in and around the box. Like if he gets the ball to his feet instead of to his chest or to his head, he'll definitely get an opportunity to turn and shoot. Where Sesko is kind of like RVP. He's very raw. He has that ability to take shots first time in the air, volley. Doesn't need a touch. He's really good in the air overall.
What makes you think Sesko is better than Gyokeres? Because I don't think he is.
The thing is, Gyokeres right now is a better player. Sesko has the raw tools and
So he has the potential to be better, is what you're saying.
I would still go for what we need now is Gyokeres.
100%.
But in an ideal world, if you could and you're a seriously ambitious club, you sign both and you let Sesko go back on loan for like 2 years.
Wow. If we do that, I'll be absolutely amazed. The problem he's got is Havertz, bruv. Because Havertz is
saying I'm reading Google reviews. Get out of here. You guys are weird.
I ignore the chat, man. Come on, be respectful in the chat, people. Come on. Look, Havertz for me is the biggest issue because £290,000 a week, £265,000 a week for Gabi Jesus. We've got 2 players there that are on a hell of a lot of money, and I think they're going to want a lot of football. Now, Jesus maybe not so much.
Jesus is injured.
But Havertz, man, what are we going to do with him?
Then one thing people didn't learn from many years under Arteta by now, he's not going to throw the players he has in the house under the bus. He's not going to do that. No. And I think people want him to throw Arteta to start throwing players he currently has in the squad under the bus, which is stupid. When you hear him say Havertz is still going to be a big part of the team, well, duh. You're not going to then say to a player who's in the who could potentially leave in the summer transfer window that, oh, I don't have you a big part of my plans, then force you to make more moves in the same window to try to solve the problems you're making. You don't want to have a problem coming into the season with a player who's unhappy. Last thing you need is another like situation where you have a player who's looking to leave or is looking at the team and saying they're not going to be a big part of the team going forward. I think Havertz is going to get game time. I think Havertz is going to still get a lot of minutes. There's going to be a lot of games throughout the season, be it Cups, be it Champions League, be it League Cup, be it FA Cup, whatever it is. And it's a long season. We're still going to need Havertz at times, be it in the midfield or up top. It's just, I think people need to relax when they see quotes like that and just be like, hey, we signed somebody. We're signing that person to take the number 1 spot, but Havertz is still going to be part of the team. He's not just going to disappear.
I agree with that, and I'm happy for him to contribute. I've got to be honest. I don't actually mind Havertz as a squad player. I just don't want to see him playing every week up top. Can we just quickly do these super chats before we close? Igal, have you got time?
What do you think?
It's cool, man. Owen says, Arsenal's slow side-to-side football is going to be a nightmare for any striker. Gyokeres thrives off transition and space, which he won't get with Slick Mick. Do you think we might have to change our style of play for Gyokeres?
I think Zubimendi coming into the team changes our style right away because he plays more balls in behind. He's more of a line-breaking passer. Since Xhaka left, we haven't had a consistent line-breaking passer in the team, and that's why we kind of looked better when Jorginho was in the side back end of last season, not this season. So I do agree with you, Owen. We are slow, but that will change hopefully with a better passing midfielder in Zubimendi.
Okay, interesting. Next one is from Netweed, and Netweed's probably not a fan of you, by the way, so I should really read these
No,
before I.
Netweed's cool, man. He's part of
Okay.
my channel too.
Okay. I don't care for Zubimendi. He's foregone to how muddied we are with 6 other newly appointed managers winning things around us. 58 million for Gyokeres bid is a joke. I don't know if it is a starting joke though, Netweed. I've got to be honest. You know I'm a fan of you and I align on a lot of your views, but I don't think it's a bad starting bid. Apparently it's around 65 or to 70 they're going to accept. So I don't think it's an embarrassing start, if I'm honest.
Do the conversion, bro. What did he say? 58 million.
Though it's 58 million pounds. It was 70 million euros.
What is 58 pounds in euros? That's
70 million euros.
That's 70 million euros. Relax yourself.
Yeah.
What disrespect? They asked for that. That's the asking price.
Yeah, I don't think that's a massive disrespect.
You know what that is? You know what that is? Somebody puts a sticker on the table and says, "Oh, the table's worth £100," and then you offer £100, and then the guy's like, "Well, that's disrespectful." What? That's the ticket price. You want us to pay over the sticker price? Tell us that.
Yeah, listen, let's come to this next one. Netweed Gal, you're embarrassing, mocking King Henry.
I didn't. 1 second. Let's get back to that. I did not mock Henry. I questioned his point. This is not a dictatorship. This is not friggin' a cult, as you guys say. Arteta's a cult. We don't sit here and just listen to everything everybody says as if it's gospel. If you disagree with somebody, you're gonna point it out. Same way how when we disagree with William Gallas, we disagree with anybody who formerly played with Arsenal. It's the same thing. Just because you're a better player does not, or one of the best players in the club's history, does not mean you can get it wrong. People disagree with Ian Wright every single day. People disagree with all these other former Arsenal players every single day. It's just when it's Henry, he has to be perfectly right.
Do you know what? No. I don't think it's about the. Do you know what? I won't get into it again because I've got into it too much now. Let's come to this next one.
When Henry says something and the negative Arsenal fans agree with it, it's, oh, how dare you talk bad about him. But when Ian Wright says something positive, it's he sucks off the club.
Yeah, look, there's definitely reasons as to why certain pundits do certain things, in my opinion. But I've spoken about that. I'm not going to go into it again. Slevin says it's hard to deliver a striker when the manager's telling the strikers they have to compete with a donkey and even be number 2 to that donkey. Look, they're going to have to definitely not be number 2. Then they're not going to be number 2. They're going to come in and start. Netsuite says, Gal, you're wrong every May. Are you going to be wrong this May? That's the question. That's what I want to know. And this is a genuine question for you because I've answered this question before. Suj says, question, is an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup enough to keep Mikel Arteta's job? Now, for me, just so you know, trophy, he stays. That's my opinion. But you go. What are you saying?
Probably if you wanna lower the bar. For me, I'm just looking at the main league or Champions League. That's me.
Oh, wow. Okay. See, look at that. I'm the negative one, apparently. And Igal's saying he's got to go if it ain't a Premier League or a Champions League. Max says, Igal, Arsenal are ranked 60th in Europe for strikers and wingers since 2020. Explain why Arteta hasn't wanted or bought one striker in 6 windows. You kind of have touched on that, to be fair, that you believe
he does want it. Just ask the board why they haven't approved it.
There we go. Emirates Era Potts, inside Arteta will leave one day, I pray. Not a fan of Mikel then. And you know what? You're not alone. Bikash, Igal, just get an Arteta FC banner in the backdrop. Big up, man. Chaitanya says, can Berta put off Alvarez? He'd be perfect for us. What do you make of this, by the way, Julian Alvarez?
We're not getting Alvarez. People need to stop with that.
No.
Alvarez is not going nowhere. Really and truly, I think it's people think it's a possibility, but I don't. I think Gyokeres is the guy. Alvarez, as much as I always thought Alvarez was more of a second striker than an actual striker.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, don't you guys want a clinical finisher, somebody who comes in and does? Because I feel like Alvarez is more of a Jesus mold, Lacazette mold. I'm sick and tired of the Jesus Lacazette molds. Just get me somebody who's a really good ball striker, good with both feet, and that can finish their dinner whenever they get a chance. And that's
Victor
Gyokeres.
Gyokeres. Victor Gyokeres is the guy. Net tweet says, I hate anti-Arsenal. Sub-20 G strikers like Sesko. Yeah, Sesko's not ready for me, and I'm with Vigal. He's not ready now. Suj, unfortunately, he says, sorry, speak up, Suj. Suj says, unfortunately, we have other areas to fix. We'll need to keep Havertz this summer because we won't be able to do everything that we need to do. Havertz is staying. I don't know why people think he's going to leave. I heard the
I
other
don't know
day.
why people think Havertz staying is a bad thing. He is a very, very good footballer. And
He's
as much
fine in
as
the squad.
people
He's a fine squad player.
as much as people hate on him, the reason why they hate on him is because he's a jack of all trades. And he's not necessarily a master of any. That's the problem why people don't like him.
That is the problem. If I tell you what though, just lastly, if he goes into midfield, I'm done with Arteta.
No, stop it. Understand, with Zubimendi in the midfield and Odegaard in the midfield and Rice in the midfield, Partey there, he might not necessarily be playing as a midfielder. He might be playing as a 10.
But that didn't work last time.
But now that we have a striker, we can do 2 plus like 1. We don't necessarily need.
Okay, let me rephrase.
We don't necessarily need a front 3. We can do a diamond midfield. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, let me rephrase it then. If he does that and it doesn't work and he continues with it again, then I'm done with Arteta. There we go.
You're done with Arteta right now. Stop acting like you care.
Yeah, no, I actually am. To be fair, I actually am. But I'm trying to make some. I'm trying to be impartial as I can because I'm trying to be a host, but I'm not doing a very good job. I am done with it. But he's staying, so I can't start screaming Arteta out.
You should be done with Inzaghi. Because if he bottles another trophy with Inter in the final on Sunday, you shouldn't want him at Arsenal either.
You know that's a mad treble that he's bottled, by the way. I can't believe that. And Conte has come in and won that Serie A, who the washed manager, look what he did at Tottenham and all this crap.
Somebody said get Arteta a gap year, get Conte in for 1 year, and then get Arteta back in after he comes back from vacation.
There you go, man. There you go. We'll win a trophy. That would be quite funny.
Give Conte the keys for 1 year.
Give Conte the keys. He wins us the league.
Then please tell me you're not upset that Spurs and Chelsea won a trophy, and don't tell me you're one of those people, Dan.
And I'm not one of those people. What?
That are looking at Spurs and Chelsea like all jealous and everything.
I'm not jealous, but I'm pissed off they won a trophy.
Okay, so fair. Because I seen somebody say to me today.
I would rather be them and all this crap.
I seen somebody say to me the other day they would rather be Chelsea or Spurs.
No, I'd rather win a trophy this season like they have, but I don't want to be what Chelsea in their positions. Look at the state of Spurs; it's an embarrassment. And look at Chelsea. Like I know Chelsea, like a few more pieces of the puzzle, and they might be able to compete. But to spend £1 billion or over and not be anywhere near is embarrassing. Like Don is shameless as well, by the way. He's such a shameless brother. Yeah. Like he was proper going for me yesterday on the terrace, and I'm just like, you're used to win stuff, and now you're lapping up top 4, celebrating it. Your players are crying. You're in the dressing room doing Freed from Desire, nah. And then you're running on the pitch today crying because you've won another bloody trophy that no one really gives a toss about. It's really weird how Chelsea's standards have fallen, bro. It really is.
What? Fair play to the players. Cole Palmer and Reece James were asked, did you have a good season? And they said, that's for the public to decide.
Love that. See, they're not bothered by Igal. They don't even care for this trophy, man. It's mad. But look, we're going to finish there, man. Big up to you for coming on, man. I appreciate you for jumping on the last few. And Igal, are you on tomorrow, yeah, with me? At 4?
Yeah.
Is that still cool? All right, sweet. So that'll be good.
I completely misunderstood what you were saying. I thought you were saying you're coming on my channel.
Oh. No, I meant 4 p.m. today, as in on mine, and then I'll come on yours whenever. But yeah, no, it's all good. Big up to everyone that's here. Who's live at the moment that we can send?
Lee's going to be going live any moment.
1.4K in here. Lee's in Seville, so I don't even know if he is, but maybe he is. Who's live? Oh, Northside. Let's raid Northside, man. Let's show him some love because he's gone live and he raided me the other day and I haven't been able to return him yet. So that's perfect.
You see what happened to his Benfica?
Oh, my God.
They were 1-0 up and lost 3-1.
My God. Bro, how did that happen? He's
on his React show.
Who is?
Lee. He's on his
is he? Do you know what? I love Lee and he raids me a lot and I raid him a lot, but I do owe Northside one. So we're going to send you over there to Northside. Wherever he is. There we go. Done. Go show him some love, people. Go say Dan Potts in Igal raid. And make sure you're following Igal as well. Igal Talks Football. Show him some love. He's doing a lot of content lately, and it's been great. Good debate shows as well. And make sure I'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. So we'll see you then. Go show Northside some love. And make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Big up to everyone that's here. Make sure you're following Football Prizes. Click on the link in the description for the Thierry Henry shirt. Make sure you're in for that. And we'll see you next time. We're out of here, people. Laters.
That's it.